I'd say most people have never heard of Tuvalu, and those who have probably couldn't even find it on a map. I've read stories and seen documentaries about Tuvalu, and I've always wondered what could be told that hasn't already been done. I came up with an idea: bring a group of talented filmmakers to Tuvalu. Together we would work with local youth to produce a documentary on how climate impact and the rising sea level threatens the very existence of this tiny island nation.
Hey, you've made it.
Welcome to Tuvalu.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. The people we met had never held a video camera before.
Can you guys see it?
But had a story to share with the world.
Can we get a mic check on that?
And now they had a way to do it. This is the real story of Tuvalu. Most of you should know why we're here. Typically when I go somewhere, I tell the story of wherever I am. It's my perspective. The goal of this project is to have you tell your story from your perspective. And so we're simply the facilitators. We've brought the tools and the knowledge, and in a very condensed time, we're going to help you to tell your story. How many of you have any video experience at all? Anybody? Okay, so you're all novices. You've never done it before. There's different roles that you can play. You can be a camera person, you can be a producer, you can help with sound. Now, I know you've never made one. You want to be able to let people know what makes this place such a cool place, what makes it unique, what makes it special. Anything that shows traditional life as at risk of disappearing.
So we're thinking like traditional kind of like fishing. If you guys know what satodi is, it's a traditional drink here.
Yeah. Like what you were just doing, that's the role of a producer. You come up with the ideas, logistics of how to get there, that sort of thing. And then you have somebody who would be like the interviewer. The producer often does that, but when you go there, you would be the one who would have a bunch of questions that you would ask the person.
Good. How does she look?
I feel like your side is a bit lower.
A good way to measure this is using that little air bubble. See if it's center. Better?
Okay, yeah.
And then audio, you're getting that sound.
We already adjusted to be at his nose. So if you want,
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And so, again, there's more space in front of her. So she's talking to me, and then when I do the interview, I don't want to stand. I want to be sitting. I want to be on the same eye level. So if you were standing, I would stand. If I'm sitting, I'm going to do this. If we're on the ground, we should be on the ground together. So however you do that.
Medium shot, wide shot, and the closest shot. Did I get it right?
You got it right. You did awesome.
Yay!
Killing it. Here, high five. High five. Awesome.
Tuvalu is a pretty remote place, given that you do have to jump on a few planes to get here. We're not on a tourist map, so Tuvalu has 3 flights a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. This is quite irregular for the Pacific, and as a result, people don't generally come to holiday here. It's more for the intrepid traveller.
Most of the people go on bikes and a few cars on the island. It's the main transportation here. It's pretty amazing. There are more bikes than people on the island. The whole of Tuvalu is around 11,000. I would say 4,000 to 6,000 that live on the island, here on the capital, Funafuti. That's where I'm from here. I grew up on the island, yeah.
It's definitely unique.
Balance us up and you'll be fine.
People are friendly, welcoming. They have a very strong identity of who they are, where they're from, what are their traditions. And so I think there's a real paradox between what we see here is absolute beauty, but on the other hand, you have the most relaxed, laid back, welcoming people. It feels like the crime just hasn't come yet. From what I've heard and what I've seen, pretty much everyone we speak to, from government, from community, if we really look at some of the problems, if you like, the challenges, and we say what's causing it, if we try and get to the root cause, particularly of crops not being particularly good, of incidences of health problems, it does come back, it seems, to climate change. Here we are on Funafuti. It's around 12 kilometres long. 8 kilometres is overcrowded with houses, and then the last 4 kilometres is an open rubbish dump. Crazy enough, the highest place here is 1.5 metres or so above sea level. There's a sign saying, in tsunami, run to the higher ground. Where is higher ground? A government building, it's 2 stories high. There's no higher ground here. My personal view is it can be quite easy to become relaxed here because people are so happy, it looks so beautiful. You can't ignore these issues. You can have the smartest people on here, but ultimately, you know, that's not enough.
Good evening and welcome to the national news. Here are the headlines. Tuvalu joins the world in celebrating World Environment Day.
As a climate activist, I really started advocating on climate change when I was still really young. I was actually born here in Funafuti. There's so many ways to say that Tuvalu is really unique. The population here in Tuvalu is actually like maybe 70% of youth. Our younger generation had to like hold on to Tuvalu and lead Tuvalu onto a better future. The younger used to be the voice for the younger generation here in Tuvalu to the bigger nations, to the one who is actually creating these factories and stuff. They may not be affected, but they should look on the other side for the smaller countries that are affected because of climate change. Maybe 10 years' time or 20 years' time, it will vanish on the map and then forgotten. And I don't really want that to happen. I will want my future kids and grandchildren to like live here and learn the cultures in Tuvalu. For me, personally, if climate change is to come and happen here in Tuvalu, I would never flee this country.
Most of the time that in the night, we walk down with our friends, and I always take my guitar with me. So every time we get bored, we grab the guitar and then start singing.
I'll never give you up.
When they all come together, the songs that we sing, it shows who we are.
We were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I'll never give you up. Oh my gosh.
Trigger. Ain't nobody gonna pull it for you. Ooh, it's a trigger. Ain't nobody gonna pull it for you.
I believe that music is something that brings people together. I started to play guitar when I was 8 years old. Music was something that I really love, And because how I felt and how I see people when they sing and how I felt, it touched me. Music is life for me. Like, music is everything. The song that I dedicated to my fiancée was a Tuvalu song. If I explain it in English, it will be just like shallow, but if you really understand my language, it will be like so deep. That's why Tuvalu words cannot be expressed in English, and it's important. I don't want to lose it. Tuvalu is a very beautiful place, and it's very unique. There's a lot of sounds that when you wake up in the morning and like you know that you're in Tuvalu. There's a rooster crawling, and there's a bike running outside, and also there's a water pumping. I know the wind, the breeze, and the sea. Like it tells you, you know, like sometimes when you stay far away and you dream of those noises, it brings you back memories of your island country. The type of food that we have here, the type of drink that we drink, you know, the toddy, the breadfruit, yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that makes us Tuvaluans. The noises, the language, and you know, the people. Without the people, we're not Tuvaluans. I'm a powerlifter. I also represent Tuvalu as a powerlifter.
Looks like it's a success.
Whenever I go and represent my country, you know, carrying that name, Bernard Gato on the bar from Tuvalu, you know, it gives me that pride that I'm from this country and I play for my country. You know, wherever I go, even though I go for education and things outside me seem so nice, seem so fancy, but whenever I'm away from Tuvalu, it gives me that feeling, I miss Tuvalu, you know? And I miss my family who's away from me. Thinking about that Tuvalu is sinking, that really, you know, upsets me and it makes me sad. Because knowing that my country is gonna disappear. We're still fighting, getting help, and sending message to people that, you know, we exist. We're also human. We don't want to lose our language, our traditions. I'm proud to be Tuvaluan. If we have to go, we have to go. It will take everything away being a Tuvaluan. And who will speak Tuvaluan, you know? That will be sad.
What's happening here in Tuvalu is more of, if you like, an emergency. If we don't do things now about climate, environment, food, this is the reality that people need to look for alternatives on where their life in 30, 50 years is going to be. So the organisation that I'm working with is Live and Learn Environmental Education in Tuvalu. So the program at the current stage is in a design phase, but to inform that design, we're doing something that Live and Learn likes to do across the whole of the Pacific, which is a rapid assessment of perceptions. So we're starting where communities are at, finding out what the current situation is, where people's attitudes, perceptions and knowledge and practices are at, and then from there we will design traditional agricultural techniques and ultimately increase the consumption of more fresh produce. I know we have 4 youth in the room. The future is yours. In Tuvalu there are food security issues, and food security is looking at readily available, nutritious and safe foods.
Okay.
We've just spent the last 2 days working with communities. And everything that's coming out is that there are issues around climate affecting food quantities and quality, as well as a change in lifestyle that seems to be affecting what people are eating, what their diet is, and what their food preferences are.
So he would like to see for the next 5 years that his pulaka, peach and taro, and also his bananas are growing very well.
These are remote peoples, and I think that's why their cultures are still so intact. You know, if it weren't for cultural local knowledge, they wouldn't have survived, because until very recently have not been dependent on the outer world.
Currently, the problem in Tuvalu that we actually, for food security, most of us get away, we adopted the imported food, and we get away with our traditional food. And even our children, the parents, the mothers are giving their children rice instead of pulaka or breadfruit. So the food preferences for the young people are going to imported food. But his dreams, the next 5 years for food security for Tuvalu, that is best that we both continue and use the imported food as a substitute to our local food, but for us to grow more crops and introduce slowly to our young people the importance of our traditional food. And that's why that is food security to Vavau, and it's best for us as well.
In my line of work, it was only recently that I started hearing the term climate refugees. They're totally reliant, even on the outer islands where they do have some arable land, on ships taking imported food stocks over there. So we're really looking at ways that we can revive traditional knowledge, bring in some fresh produce to enhance Tuvalu's food futures.
I think all the people know here, most of the time when we got the high level at the sea, most of this place is full of seawater. So it's very hard to maintain like everything here because of the seawater. That's why we raise up the garden, because of the seawater. I think that's the only way we have to do, to raise up, to put on the table. Like, I think that's a good idea for that one, to raise up the bed. Here's the compost. We use compost here. We bought the compost from the waste management. We bring the compost here. We mix here with some kind of fertilizer. So we keep here like 5 months, and we can put on the bed and mix. Most of the people here in Tuvalu, some they believe of the climate change, but some they don't believe. They didn't believe that Tuvalu can, what the people think. But climate change, it happened. Everything changed.
What I've been told, and from what I understand, is that the land is part of you. It's part of your identity, and therefore there are taboos around moving land from one island to another island, or even across here, across Funafuti, from one part of Funafuti to another part. So this really makes moving land a real issue.
This is the seawall, and we have put the retaining wall there just to protect the soil. And we put the seawall here just to break up the wave force to stop soil erosion. Before, in this place here where the reclamation is the lagoon. And from there up to here, all reclamation. This place was lagoon before. There's no land here before.
Well, this is the map before this all happened. So this land used to be all the swamps, so you can see from here all the way here. I didn't actually know how massive it was, but the fact that we have seawall to protect the soil erosion during high tide is actually a really good idea, to implement strategy to stop soil erosion.
If you're Indigenous Funafuti, you can take some soil from under your house and source it there. But the consistency of supply is really up and down. So it's a real challenge. Other people's houses are on hard coral. There is no soil. So these are our major challenges.
What kind of call to action do you all want to come from this? This entire experience, everything you've learned and the story we're telling, like what is it that you want people to get from this?
From my point of view, the only thing that I need from other countries is just to believe that climate change is actually real and it's affecting, Tuvalu. Just for them to help us to see that Tuvalu people need help would be enough for me.
We just want to send a message to all the countries watching this that we still love our country. If you were in our shoes, you will feel, feel what we feel. That we want our children, our grandchildren to live here, to see what Tuvalu is, and we don't want to lose our culture and to lose our language. We love Tuvalu, and we hope that whoever sees this video could support us.
Saving Tuvalu is like saving the world, or saving the small Pacific island is saving the world, and saving the world will actually keep us alive, and we still need the beauty of our country. I don't know, in my heart, I do not want to lose my island, my country, my home, because I already told Jacob about my quote, losing my home is like, I'm like a turtle without a shell. So I do not want to go around as a backless turtle or a shellless turtle. So I just do not want to lose my home, because losing my home is like losing my culture, my family.
I feel very sad for the people here in Tuvalu. Used to be a lot of corals here, and you can see here there's no sign of coral here, but a lot of rocky beaches here. So because of the high temperature and the high level of nutrients from land, and all the corals been dead here, and all the marine life, and especially the marine organisms, they've been migrate to other areas where it can have a little bit more cool water. I'm the local managed marine area officer for the Reef to Reef project in Tuvalu, and I'm responsible for looking after the conservation area in Tuvalu and also our coastal waters to ensure that all the marine life is working well and also is a healthy ecosystem, and to make sure we have sustainable living things all around here in Tuvalu in the coastal water. In Funafuti here we focus mainly on the algal bloom. You can see a lot of seaweed growing on there. It's been a huge amount of nutrients has been washed down from the land. So one of the strategies from the project, we have to plant this vetiver grass being imported from Fiji and PNG. So we have to plant 200 vetiver grass here today. Basically the project is mainly focusing on to preserve ecosystem services and sustainable livelihood for the people of Tuvalu. Federal High School students to also participate in this grass, because they are the future generation and they are the one responsible for all our biodiversity, especially for young leaders here. So we make sure we involve them in whatever measures that can help to reduce the impact of not only from the climate change but also from our human activities. Last year we've been planting more than 500 grass right at the dump site in the northern island of here in Funafuti to solve and also to reduce the wastewater that's been driven from the land. We're monitoring the nutrient level, and it seems like from last year this year the nutrient is getting a little bit slightly reduced compared to previous years. So by doing that, we ensure that the adaptation measure that we have here to planting grass is useful for reducing the wastewater towards the marine. And then we're targeting most of the sites that are most highly polluted, especially from the dump site, the main settlements, piggery site. You can see here, there's a lot of piggery here. So we are those focal areas we are targeting to ensure that we protect our coastal and also our marine ecosystem.
We went to this conservation area, and the guy who took us, he said that the land was bigger. And now it's getting smaller. The sea keeps taking off the soil from the edges of the island.
That way, yeah.
And also we saw another island, like There were no tall trees. There was just like sand and short trees. And we had to take the coconut crabs to another island because they're getting barren over there. So we have to take it to another island. If it happens to those islands, pretty sure it's gonna happen to the mainland. Yeah, it's kind of shocking that everything starts with small. You just move the crabs, and you move the animals. Very soon we'll be moving people to other countries. Here we are in the airstrip of Tuvalu. This is like the only open area where we can socialize. It will be packed with people every evening. They play different sports, volleyball, futsal, soccer, and rugby. They use this place from the end of the field until the other end of the field.
Tuvalu have a lot of unique way of living. Soccer match between the prisoners and the warden is one unique way of how Tuvalu live their life. In other countries, they don't trust their prisoners to go outside because they might run away. But here, the total of all the prisoners in the local prison is a total of 9. The warden trusts the prisoners that they will actually obey their rules and not actually run away since Tuvalu is really small.
If the plane's about to land, there will be a siren and an announcement that there will be a plane landing, so everyone will clear out from this area. They make sure that no car, no motorcycle or animal, a dog or a pig, they make sure that nothing will intervene with the plane. So far, no plane crashes, even though there's no gate, there's no accident. The community knows whenever there's a plane will land, so it's pretty safe. Only in Tuvalu.
I will never tire of rain.
Wow, it's really raining hard.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think Tuvalu is the best place here in the universe. Like, you're safe to be here.
Tuvalu is unique in many ways. It saddens me to know that Tuvalu may be, underwater in 50 years. So, like I said before, just for people to help us, we just need help to keep our beautiful country.
Tuvalu is a place like no other. Every time that you see one unique thing, there's like another thing that you've never seen before, and it just gets better and better.
I think one of my favorite things was I was with my group and we passed a stand near the ocean and it had like fresh fish, like large fresh fish. And Luma was like, I'm hungry, let's just get a raw fish and then go eat it at the beach. And so she just paid for a raw fish, put it on the back of the bike, and then we went and ate it. Like she just knifed it, or gutted it, I guess. It's okay.
It's the only violence in Tuvalu.
Yeah, knifing the fish. And so I'd never eaten raw fish before. Can I have a bite? Yeah. Do I just take the whole thing?
I know it's a bit disgusting to you, but oh, sorry, it's normal to us.
It was just really cool to experience that and just sit there and talk with my group and get to know people. And it is a different way of life. In a lot of ways, I think you guys have life a little bit more figured out than some of the larger countries that are always in a hurry and their life circles around money. I know that, you know, here it seems like you need a little bit of money because there's imported goods that you have to buy, but I really admire that your life isn't revolved around money.
You know, there are more people than the opportunities. You know, only a small percentage of these people are taken by the government. But then the higher percentage, they are unemployed. Yet, most private sectors are, you know, family businesses. Some are employed in the maritime center where, you know, a lot of young men go through this institution for seafarers.
We arrived at the Tuvalu Maritime Training Institute.
How many Chinese do you have here?
Normally intake is 20 students.
What trainings do they have?
There are 3 departments. There's the deck department, the engine room department, and then the catering. Every ship, they will have a cook. Yeah? The current situation is quite difficult to get jobs. The number of shipping companies that actually recruiting our seafarers are very minimal at the moment, and the government is trying their best to get more ship owners to employ our graduates. It's quite challenging at the moment.
Living in Tuvalu is you know, completely different from living in Fiji or New Zealand, in Australia, because you depend on your families. You know, the families provide for you. If you don't have employment or don't have money, you still get families for you there. There is a company from New Zealand, and they are interested in taking some of our people.
They were looking for 11 people. They were here to recruit some new laborers to work for their farm. And looking at the number of applicants, it's running around 30 people. I'd like to be able to get more financial support for my family.
We see this opportunity in these seasonal programs as, you know, very important for us because we can send a lot of workers. Most of our community are Christian people. You know, there are a lot of promises in the Bible that God can save us. But then we've seen the reality of our island. These are messages from Mother Nature that we need to vacate this area. If I have the chance to move out with my family, I will do that. Because I think it's about time for us to leave our country, even though we are brought up here, but it's about time. The only way is for us to move out of this, you know, these areas.
We are here right now in the bread market, Kaupule bread. This is where locals come and sell their breads food, drinks, donuts, all those kind of stuff.
Pota, piece of bread.
In this small island, not much opportunity of jobs, and so this is one way of people making a living. People can support their children in school and also help out with the family a little bit.
We are right outside of my house, my place. I'm gonna climb up and cut one pentanus. This is what we call pentanus. It's kind of sweet though. And I've heard that these pentanus can help you clean your teeth. We can hardly find the pentanus here in the capital due to the constructions of buildings and stuff where we should cut down trees to build houses.
This local hat I'm wearing, it calls the mataili. Mataili, we get it from the coconut leaves. We get the leaves and then we weave it. And I learned this mataili, how to make it since I was a young kid. I learned it from my father, my uncles. Everyone knows how to weave it. And we normally use it to protect our face or from the sunlight when we go out fishing.
There you go.
When you come here, it's a paradise. Everyone's just friendly. You can sleep anywhere you can without any trouble. Climate change is real. It's reality. I don't want my people to migrate to New Zealand, Australia, Fiji, or whatever. I want my people to stay here, build up the island, build up the local culture, especially the economy.
Yeah, perfect right.
We only have lands here. We don't have any lands out of Tuvalu. And if we migrate, that's not our land. That's not where we belong. We belong to here in Tuvalu. And this is our place, our home, and our country.
The ocean, the sand, the reeds in the wind. Now I'm back to sleep.
His name is Puatua, and he's 75 years old, climbing this coconut tree. Toddy, it's a juice from the coconut, not from the nut, but there's a branch. Before the nut become nuts, it's like a branch that grows out and then it's spread out to coconuts. So before that burst, it's still young. That's why he makes it He's doing it like smoothly, like a friend, like because he's providing for the family. So that thing is like a funnel, so that the liquid from the toddy leaks into the bottle. There are so many uses of this toddy. You can drink it, you can make food with it, and it's also like our main drink without using sugar. It's sweet, and we can make bread with it as well, and also alcohol. I o mate-matenga ne, I yaso tau mua e kiu atino e sari-sari kaleve ne. Ako yaso nei.
Pila ko hala ko whakangala do de. Whai kaleve.
So he's basically said that it's not like before. Before it is like a thing. Like if you don't have toddy, you're not a real man. So and as you can see, the changes between nowadays and the olden days, that young men they don't even bother about having toddy, since you know there's Coke and Sprite at the shop, like no sweet stuff too, like toddy. So they don't really do this anymore. So as you can see, it's ready, and the bottle is full. It's dripping down. It's overflowing. It's ready. It is so sweet and it's so delicious. Now back to sleep. So this is toddy.
A chance to dream a dream of me.
We need to make a stand, like coming together as one, even though we're like different countries, different cultures, but we still are the same people. We may have like the different skin colors and everything, but we're still one. Together we can make a big difference, and that's what we really need. We should like take a step now, because if we do it now, we can't wait for the time that Tuvalu is about to disappear, just only one coconut, then we'll make a step. Since climate change is coming in and it's really coming in closer, we should, I think all I want to say is like we should come together and be as one and then work this out. We need to work this out. Just like how my brother said it, we are the backbone. I guess those older generations are the body, we're the backbone. Without the backbone, he's not going to sit straight, he's going to sit like this. So we have to do something. We have, instead of saying words, we need to like, instead of talking the walk, talking the walk, we need to walk.
Talking. Instead of talking.
Instead of walking, talk.
We need to walk the walk. Yeah.
What? Sorry, but can you edit whatever she's saying? Instead of
walk
like,
the talk.
Yeah, walk the talk.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
walk.
Walk the talk.
Walk the talk, not talk the walk. I'll do it in my native language, something like this. Whai ne koe a whainga instead of whai pati ne koe. Au whainga, au whai pati.
What Nanoa was trying to say in our native language was se ko pati wa ko whainga, which basically means less talking but more action. So, you know, when you just talk, you know, to stop littering and stuff without action, that doesn't mean that, you know, you're actually preventing, you know, climate change.
This island is called Funafala. We call it an islet. Like, instead of an island, we call it an islet.
It's nearly 2 years now, but it's a good project for us. Because before we used to use kerosene and battery to make our lights on. So, but now it's very nice life at the moment to use the solar 10 houses they use for, so each house, 1 solar.
We're gonna interview Sakalia, which is the leader of this islet, to tell us more about the biogas and why did they want it here.
Se gas chester.
Okay, so this is a gas chester.
Se tanne de la utuge ya futai puakane.
Okay, it's a tank where they fill all the pig's feces inside.
Nala ko faite ni ati gas.
And that pig's feces will make up the gas from it, which is called the biogas.
Nala te tai puaka ya umai faite sai puak ko utu ni man.
Okay, so the pig's feces, they'll get it from the pig pen and they'll fill it into this tank. So he got this biogas from the government, so the government helped him to get to know that they actually have biogas here, and he actually got it to here. Okay, so before he got this biogas, this tank, he used to order the gas, like the actual gas bottle from the mainland, and they'll transport it here. He opens the handle on top of the tank. The gas will go through this hose and it'll go eventually to that oven over there. And now he's gonna on it. And it's free gas. He's gonna keep this biogas here forever.
I mean, my father was a fisherman. My grandfather was a fisherman. And right now I'm a fisherman. And studying like beyond as a fisherman, like studying the scientific things, what is happening, is pretty fortunate for us. As I continue to study more, then we understand what is actually behind us. We have seen climate change. We lost 2 islands, one in 1992, and the other one just lost in 2015, tropical cyclone Pam. And those are the facts, shows us that climate change is actually happening. Most of our corals, like almost 50%, decrease because of temperature increasing. And that's a fact of climate change. Corals are vital to fish because actually they are breeding sites and they are houses. And without corals, fish will be running to other places and leaving Tuvalu without fish. The most protein they have is from fish. We're so small, it's just a dot floating in the ocean. We need to do something about it.
This is a school program in line now with the environment. They are asked to take out children into to go out of the classroom to help clean the environment. All the children are out of the classroom picking rubbish. And this is a good lesson to them. When they grow up, hopefully they will do whatever they have been taught in school.
My poem is about air pollution. They say a rose will smell as sweet even with a different name. But all along with air pollution, I'd say they are to blame. Truth be told, to smell a rose you need the finest of air. But with their lies and not sweet skies, I can't smell a rose anywhere. Carbon monoxide is colorless and plain, but to cause pollution is rather vain. What it is or where, but it's not helping air spell. This spell is not fairy tales, but rather of its spark, of brightness and of purity, now clouded by the dark. With a different word comes different effect is carbon dioxide tail. The greenhouse gas is harmful and burned by fossil fuels. Beware. Thank you very much.
I was surprised by the diversity in the different kinds of churches that are all on this one small island. There seems to be every kind of, denomination of Christianity, or there was even a mosque and other faiths.
How would you describe the role of faith in Tuvalu?
They do believe that there is a God out there watching over us. It's like a really big thing here in Tuvalu. The faith here in Tuvalu is a strong thing. I think that's the thing that holding us together as Tuvaluans. Being a Christian, it's not just being a Christian, but believing that there's a God out there, which we call it our Father, who like put us into this earth for a reason. And we do really need like faith, because climate change, imagine climate change, so we have to take a step or a leap of faith to like get rid of this climate change.
God is our only mountain. We need to have faith when, climate change is affecting your island. Probably that's why Tuvalu is still here, because, we have faith and stuff.
When those hard times come, we are all safe in the hands of God. I don't believe in climate change because the Bible says so. God promised Noah that there's no more flood. I think a lot of people have the same faith as me. A lot of them, but not everybody. Even though they all go to church and stuff like that. But they don't believe. Some of them, they don't believe what I believe.
Talofa pastor.
Talofa.
The religion here in Tuvalu, what do you think about being a pastor?
Being a pastor is only a servant that we believe that the islands are being blessing through the church, through our faith. Through faith we have been blessed. Just like we separate from the Ellis Islands and they say, you cannot survive. But in the meantime, we tell them they are wrong. Their prophecies are totally out. That's where we base our faith in God.
I was in Tuvalu all my life. I was working with the Ministry of Home Affairs as a rural development planner. Well, I go around all the islands, so I have a fair idea of what is going on in those islands, and yeah. We're worried about climate change because one of these days our land will be vanished. Where will we go? We don't want to go and live somewhere else. We want to stay in Tuvalu because we are Tuvaluans. Opinion in here is going around like why worry about tomorrow, because life tomorrow take care of itself. We have been living here for quite some time now, and why we should go away. Well, the thing is climate change is here, and we've seen a lot of signs. Well, there's a lot of changes. When Tuvalu actually started to gain independence, we didn't have much vehicles, no electricity, no telephones. Now all these things are here. There's a lot of rubbish in Tuvalu, and our lands are shrinking, are getting smaller and smaller. Where will we dump those rubbish? Where will we dump those rubbish if our land are getting smaller, right? We have no place for this rubbish in Tuvalu. Our land taken by the sea. That's an issue, a big issue in Tuvalu. I've heard people saying that they're thinking about migration because of issues of climate change. There is no other home for me. I can't call Australia home or New Zealand. Tuvalu is my home. Tuvalu is just a small country. We try to save Tuvalu. Now, it will help save the world.
Some they were saying, anywhere you go, you will die, and everyone will die. So why we had to go? We had to be here. This is our home, and if anything happens, this is our home. And if you're gone, you are at home.
As a mother, I would be sad if my child doesn't know about Tuvalu in the future. Maybe I can only talk about it, but my child won't know because he or she won't see it in the future. I am 19 years of age. I'm expecting a child. Now I'm going on to my 6th month. I do worry about the future of my children. I'm starting to plan migrating to overseas countries because of climate change, which forces us to move. I would like to let my child know that wherever we go, they're still Tuvaluans. I want them to carry Tuvalu in their hearts.
And there's our proof for climate change. Seawater, it's a lot of water, seawater there. My shoes, they got stuck in the mud. And there's our proof for climate change affecting us. Right there, seawater affecting Pulaka peats. It's a lot of water, seawater there. So you can see Pulakas are dying because of seawater rise. Pulaka has been a traditional food for many years. It symbolizes our culture, actually, and the food we eat. Our elders prefer eating Pulaka rather than rice. So Pulaka is really important to us. So you can see now how seawater is affecting it. It's just kind of sad to see it dying. I wonder if our future generations, they can see with their own eyes. As we can see it now, I don't really think it'll be long enough for all these Pulaka pits to die. I do worry a lot. We are witnessing now that most coastal areas has been eroded, decrease in land mass and increase in population. I think in the near future, people will be forced to go to import to other countries because of the land mass and economics and financial stuff like that, yeah. They don't want to leave, but they have no other choice but just to go. For the sake of their children and their future generations, we'll be left without any choice just to abandon our home if climate change continues to affect our lives.
We were talking about how, Tuvalu could be underwater in 50 years. So what is your all's future? Are you guys planning on staying? Are you planning on going? What does that look like?
It's really hard to answer it, but I would rather stay. But for me, I just do not want to leave my island. like to come to the real deal, I think we have to like move out. I think Tuvalu have to think this way too, that Tuvalu is not because of the island, but because of the people. So we don't call Tuvalu as an island, we call us people Tuvalu. And so taking ourselves out from here will also like taking Tuvalu to another place. So I don't really call this island Tuvalu, I call the people, they are Tuvalu. So yeah.
To leave Tuvalu and go to another place, another country, it saddens me. So it, got mixed emotions. I don't know whether to go. I don't know how to choose. So if Tuvalu actually, goes underwater, I would actually like to go with Tuvalu underwater because, I don't want to go to another place. So yeah, I don't want to move anywhere else. I just want to stay here.
Like if Tuvalu is gonna sink, then I guess we have no choice. We have to move, right? And imagine the fuel that the airstrip. Soon it'll be gone. No plane will come, no plane will go, And then thinking ahead, we really have to make a move right now. For my future, I'm planning to move, but every time I go for education, I always think back, man, I miss Tuvalu. No other place like Tuvalu. The love and careness is in Tuvalu, like all that stuff. And this is our time, The old people has done their duty. The older one they shown us what to do. Now it's our time. So we still have the strength. We still, our mind are still fresh, and we're like the backbone of our country. Without us, we're gonna fall. We're the youth, and we're the one who's gonna show our little ones how to stand.
What were some of your expectations going in, and did anything surprise you about the process of filming and working with us?
Well, what I was expecting, like just the like other documentary. Honestly, this documentary that we did, we went like deep to the ground, like we dig really deep. Like example, we went to a funeral, and I haven't seen any documentary about a funeral. And also, there was seawater inside the grave hole, and then we have to pump it out. That's the first time I kind of saw it too. That's really sad. Knowing that our ancestors are just soaking on seawater right now. For our tradition and customs, I have that feeling always, every day, being born here, being raised up here. I have always had that feeling that I want to come back to my country. They dug the hole in the morning, and they prepared for the burial in the afternoon. Now, so when they came back, it's filled up with seawater. For me and our culture, like to go in with the camera and shooting, it's kind of unique, kind of like it's weird. And for me, I would feel like awkward and, feel sorry for the mom. I was hoping that no one gets mad, which is what we did was good. They accepted us to be part of their funeral. We came there and set up. Nobody even bothered, and even when we came by, they said, "Are you taking a good shot?" Like making a way where we can shoot. They don't want to, view their back to the camera. So people were like, we were trying to show that we respect them in a way, and also they show their respect to us.
Seeing the water rising from the grave they dug on that morning when we went filming, it's kind of sad. Seeing how sea level rise and climate change affecting our lives. especially for moments like that. To be honest, on that day, I was kind of shy, going around with the camera, shooting everything. I kind of felt like disrespectful just for a little bit for the family. I felt sorry for their loss, and we were there moving around with our cameras, doing our own thing, while the other families were feeling sorry about their loss and all. There was a lot of seawater inside the grave, and the family had to pump all the water outside so they can lay their son in his final resting place. It was kind of sad because they couldn't find other places where they could lay his body that it's not affected by seawater.
Our land is kind of affecting with climate change, and that's where the person is going to rest his body, and it's filled up with seawater. And I know right now it's filled up with water again. So as you can see, our land is kind of affecting with climate change, and you know it's really a big story to tell about sea level rise. And looking at it, the body that our loved ones that will be rested on, you know, seawater, it's tragic. Other people from other countries could also know that our country is affected by climate change.
Even in death, climate change is still affecting us.
We try to save Tuvalu. It will help save the world. We are all Tuvalu.
Taku pele pulalosa, no fia, onu sai maila, te olangani faingata, atoku alofa, oko esengata, it's a love story from the start. I never wanna let you go, baby. Taku pele, you're my only one. Go akieta yeba itangiriko, do you know? You go, baby, you're my only one. Come a little closer, cause I don't wanna see you that far. Akumuna loka soko lau kele kev kata sita. Akumuna me yoku, akumuna me tonu. No for my kalili, my fafa watu. Taku pele pula losa, okuma faufaunga, otele lungai nua nua, oloi mata, kitalingine no kufata fata, kefaka misikata, kotaku number one fia. I never wanna let you go, baby. Taku pele, you're my only one. Go akieta yeba itangiriko, do you know? I don't wanna see you that far. Akumuna loka soko lau kela kev kata sita. Akumuna me yoku, akumuna me tonu. No for my galili, my fafa watu. Aku edali tonu, yago yaku. Aku edali tonu gite favavau. Baku pele pula losa, nafoko yo fia. you know say my love, te olangan ni faingata, ataku alofa, okoe esengata, yaina. It's a love story from the start. Never wanna let you go, baby. Takupele, you're my only one. Go akita iba itangit ko, do you know? I never wanna let you go, baby. Takupele, you're my only one. Come a little closer, 'cause I don't wanna see you that